show where we talk about things that are coming up on Chevrolet's Inside High School Sports, as well as things going on around the greater Houston area sports scene. And for this first segment, we have Inside High School Sports insider Matt Harris on the phone with us. And Matt, basketball season. I never thought we'd get to this point where we're just basketball.
I know, it's kind of crazy. Football season's over, state's over, our kind of season wrap-up for football is over, and now we've got a few months to focus on nothing but Texas high school hoops.
I'm excited for them. I love hoops. I got to go to some really good games last year. Haven't gotten to go to any this season just yet, but you have. Let's talk a little bit about some of the teams that you've seen and some of the teams that you're excited to see throughout the rest of hoop season, since we've got about 10 more weeks.
Yeah, one of the big teams I'm excited about in the Houston area is Dickinson. They stand at 15-5, ranked second in the state by TABC. The thing with Dickinson is, I might have mentioned this on the segment last week. I can't remember, but the crazy thing about watching them in person is that every single player on that team can handle the ball, positions 1 through 5, and that's going to make them super dangerous come playoff time because everyone handles the ball so well. They're a team that's really hard to turn over. And so if Dickinson can win that points off of turnovers battle, which they should in most games, that's going to give them a great chance to go deep.
And who are some of the top teams, for those who haven't really been watching, who are some of the top teams in the greater Houston area?
So we've got Dickinson at number 2, like we mentioned. Atascocita is at 5th. They had a pretty impressive showing in the Whataburger tournament. They lost to Sulphur Springs in round 1 and then won all of their games on the consolation ladder. And then we've got Summer Creek at number 9, who plays Dickinson, I believe, tonight. Beaumont United is at 10, North Shore at 11, Morton Ranch at 17. So we've got a lot of really good schools. Eisenhower down at 25 as well. So in 6A, there's a lot of good schools, and that's, I think, important more than ever this season because DFW is not near as strong as it was last season. DFW had just tons of uber talented teams last season, and Duncanville took home the state title for 6A. Duncanville's really good against this year, and they're ranked number 1 in the state currently. But beyond Duncanville, DFW is pretty thin. So I think that we could see winners from the Houston area in both potentially Region 2 and obviously Region 3 is all Houston, but we could see a Houston winner in Region 2 as well.
And that'd be big, as in DFW swept Houston last year in the state tournament, but this season there's a very likely chance that you see some of the talent throughout all of it, 5A, 6A, 4A, as you know, you've got teams like Yates, you've got teams like Shadow Creek, and Fort Bend Hightower, who are also ranked really high as well, for both boys and girls.
For sure. One thing I want to touch on with that real quick, Yates is currently ranked first in Class 4A. Shadow Creek is ranked 3rd in 5A, and Hightower is 4th. So the great thing about that is those are 2 teams that are going to play each other twice in district play, and they're 2 of the best teams in the entire state in Class 5A. 5A is not quite as deep on teams as 6A is out of Houston. Beyond number 3 and 4 there, they've got Manville at 13, and that might be about it, I believe.
I think Barbers Hill's in there too.
Yeah, Barbers Hill. I don't see Barbers Hill on here. I'm not sure, but Barbers Hill is another really good team down there in 5A. That's just the current state rankings. Obviously, we're only through the non-district portion of the schedule as district starts to fire up tonight and into next week. And there's still a lot to be decided as far as that goes. But Houston's the area is really strong in hoops this year, and I think it's going to be really exciting to see.
And, you know, another thing that we kind of talk about here, I don't know how much we've covered it so far, but girls hoops is really good as well, and they're pretty strong. But that 5A has those same 2 teams, Fort Bend Hightower and Shadow Creek, and women's, that have seemed to be really good throughout the season. I believe Fort Bend Hightower went on an 18-0 streak at one point in time in the season.
Yeah, Hightower is currently 19-4 in 5A, ranked 5th in the state, and Shadow Creek is 6th. So on the boys' side, Shadow Creek is third and Hightower's fourth. Girls side, Hightower's fifth, Shadow Creek sixth. So again, another great district showdown, both guys and girls for Hightower and Shadow Creek there in District 10-5A. And then you look at the 6A side, Cypress Creek is off to a 23-0 start for the girls. That's more games than most teams have played. They're ranked third in the state, so Cypress Creek is probably going to be the team to watch down in Houston. Cy Ranch is ranked 7th in the state as well. Summer Creek 11th. Atascocita at 17 and Ridge Point at 17. So Houston is stacked in terms of girls' talent, but that's going to be another great a matchup to watch between Cy Ranch and Cy Creek, both currently in the top 7 of the girls' 6A rankings.
And who are some of the players that you're most excited to see? And who are some of the players that are going to be the hot names on the scene this year?
So for the guys' side, I've already seen Tremont Mark and LJ Cryer, two of the best players in the area for Tremont Mark at Dickinson and LJ Cryer at Morton Ranch. Cryer was first team All-State last season, averaged more than 30 points a game, which is remarkable when you consider high school only plays 32 minutes. So this is a guy that averages almost a point a minute. He's an absolute flamethrower. Mark is a bigger guard, around 6'5" or 6'6". So those two guys I'm really excited to watch and have seen already this season. But to give you a team to watch, I love watching North Shore hoop. It's a team that they don't necessarily have a high-end recruit, but they've got like 10 to 12 guys that can just go out there and hoop, and they're one of the best teams in the state.
Awesome. Matt, is there anything else that you would like to add from this first week of us covering basketball? I know it's not the first week of basketball, but it's Inside High School Sports' first week of basketball.
Not quite. I will say that our coverage is going to pick up a lot, especially as we get into district play. Now we focus solely on basketball, and I'm really excited for district because some teams will go out of their way to schedule to have a tougher schedule. For example, Morton Ranch is off to an 11-8 start, but they've played a lot of really good teams. Not every team does that, so I think when you get to district play, you start to see who these teams really are. And I'm excited to see who emerges in Houston as we get into district play a little bit and finish up that first round of district games.
And is there one team that you want to predict will make it to San Antonio?
One team to make it to San Antonio. I want to say it'll be Dickinson because, like I said, I love the fact that every dude, it feels like, on that roster can handle the ball and that they don't turn it over a lot and they're really well coached. But Atascocita impressed me as well because that's a team that can really get up and down the floor. And if you're trying to get into a track meet with Atascocita, you're probably going to lose. So I think to beat Atascocita, especially in the playoffs, you're going to be need to be a team that slows the game down a little bit and doesn't try and run with them as much because Atascocita will run you out of the gym real fast if you're not careful.
Awesome, Matt. Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing all the coverage that we have on social media for the next few weeks from you and Ryan for both of our Inside High School Sports platforms. But we will be right back with the fifth quarter.
Don't forget to catch our extended coverage of the high school football season each week on The Warm-Up, presented by your local Houston area Geico agents. We will get you ready for all the action this Thursday on all our social media outlets. Watch Inside High School Sports to catch this week's Chevy Spotlight, brought to you by your Houston area Chevy dealers. Visit your nearest Chevy dealer to test drive their award-winning products.
Welcome back to the fifth quarter. Some great analysis on the basketball hoop scene from our insider, Matt Harris. But on this next segment, we caught up with a coach last week at the Whataburger and talked to him about his team and some of the competition that he's seen so far and will be seeing throughout the season.
Your season so far, we're just talking off camera, you've got 3 losses. Your team's played exceptionally well. Are you where you want to be at this point?
Yeah, we were talking earlier, talking to my assistant coaches, and you want to start peaking somewhere around the middle of the district, and we're not quite there yet. We still make too many errors defensively. Our efforts there, kids are playing hard, playing together, which is what we expect. But we're getting better. We're already planning on what we need to work on in practice, and that's what these tournaments are for. 1, kids kind of get together and bond a little bit, and 2, we can kind of see where we're at. There's some unbelievable teams out here. Nobody's easy. We had to come all the way to Dallas just to play Ridge Point, but you know, they're a good team as well. They're one of the top teams in Houston, and you know, we want to play the best team so that we can try to improve.
Talking about the players you've got, you've got a pretty talented roster. Some of them are newer, but a lot of them have played together for quite a while.
Yeah. I mean, we got a great group of kids. The best thing about them is they all like each other. I mean, there's not a lot of bickering, arguing, and things of that nature. We got 2 football players, you know, Dylan Robinson and Landon King, who both really bring another dimension to this group. But you know, once Landon was sick, so he didn't get to play. You know, he hasn't played this weekend. But Dylan Robinson, I mean, he took 3 charges there that game. I mean, he rebounds the ball well, he can score, and he just brings another dimension to our guys. I mean, we got some really good guards: Caleb Stewart, Dylan Dawson, Tom Hart, Chris Ashby, you know, Cam Morrison, Justin Collins. I mean, we got some guys that play well individually, but the best thing about it is they play well together.
Absolutely. Talk about Tom a little bit. He is a junior, steadying influence, so really a good point guard.
He's coming around. You know, he's coming around. He's getting better every day, every time out. You know, we just want him to keep working, keep expanding his game more and more and more. He kind of does a little bit of every day, so he does a good job for us.
And then talk about just goals long term. Obviously, you guys are used to making some deep runs.
Yeah, well, that's the goal. We want to make a deep run and have a chance to compete. You know, and be one of the last teams standing. You know, and all that is about where you're at right now and your continued progression as district rolls around. You know, you asked me what my record was. I don't really keep up with that other than the district record, and that's kind of our focus. So we'll try to get this last game here at 3:30, head back to Houston, and prepare for next week, that tough week next week.
And one side benefit of this tournament, you get to see your good friend Chris Dyers.
I do. Anytime we get to play in a tournament where he's involved or we're in the same city, both of us, obviously we try to do that. It's always good to see him, especially around the holidays. I mean, it means a lot to me, obviously, and I just hate my family wasn't down to you know, he's the godfather of my kids, so I hate that they didn't get a chance to see him, but he does an unbelievable job. It was a great game last night between them and Duncanville, and if anybody can knock Duncanville off, you know, it was going to be a well-coached Coach Dyer team, and that's exactly what that everybody witnessed last night.
All right, and then last question, looking ahead to district, just talk about, and haven't looked at your schedule, what are the first couple of games you got coming up?
Well, we got Dobie and Summer Creek next week, and so those are right now the 2 most important games on the schedule. I mean, Dobie, obviously, they're very athletic, you know, and we're going over there to play, so we got to be ready to go. And then we got Summer Creek on Friday, which will be a big game. So, you know, they're all big games. We don't take anybody lightly. Summer Creek's ranked number 2 in the state for a reason. You know, pretty good. They're well coached, and regardless of what happened in the past, you know, they're the top dog, and we gotta be ready for them.
Thank you so much to head coach David Martinez for taking some time with us at Chevrolet's Inside High School Sports. That Atascocita Summer Creek game is our game of the week, and you will see highlights from it tomorrow on Chevrolet's Inside High School Sports, as well as so much more at 11 p.m. on KOTU 11. Thank you so much for watching the 5th quarter. I'm Ashley Bullington, and we'll see you next week.